Welcome. We're pleased today to have Lori Franco from Global Excellence Travel with us on our Cinco de Mayo day. So thanks so much, Lori, for joining us. I know you have lots of interesting information to share with us, so I will turn it over to you.
Morning, everyone. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Today, I plan on talking a little bit about Mexico. Mexico right now is open to U.S. tourists. We do not need a COVID test going in. However, coming back 3 days prior, the government of the U.S. has made it mandatory that we do have to have a COVID test. Most hotels are giving it free, so that's something you need to keep in mind. The Chichen Itza, Tulum, Coba, the Mayan ruins are open. You do have to be very flexible. If they tend to get too many people, they'll close them down. They just closed them for Easter because people refused to wear masks. So you have to go with the local policies of the government and you have to follow all rules and regulations. Mexico has the West Coast, the East Coast, the Cancun, Mayan Riviera. That's where you'll find your blue water. If you look at the West Coast of Puerto Vallarta, they have the green water. And then we have the fishing village in Cabo San Lucas, which has all the different boats that you can rent to go out marlin fishing, all the golf courses. The only thing they don't have are swimmable beaches. So it all depends on what you want to see and do in Mexico. Most of the properties are all-inclusive. So you will get your transfers, all your drinks, all your non-motorized water sports, all your meals. It's like a cruise ship on land when you do an all-inclusive. They have ping pong, soccer, volleyball, badminton. It depends on what you want to do, they do it. They have all the spas that are extra. So right now, people are traveling. It's a little bit difficult, but you have to make your way through it. So as long as you know what you're getting into and know what you need to do prior, you're fine. I just came back from Jamaica. I had no problem whatsoever. I tested prior. I tested when I came back. Hotels are open. Tours are open. So right now is a great time to travel. As we get into next year, people are going to be traveling more and more. The problem is the airlines haven't added more flights. So if you're planning on traveling, you need to do it sooner than later. The most important thing is travel insurance. Very little or very few insurances cover COVID. So unless you have a cancel for any reason policy, COVID is not covered. So that's one thing you really have to be careful. This is where a good travel advisor comes in handy because rules change daily. One day you don't have to test, one day you do have to test. So you need to be working with someone who's going to make sure you get through all the rules and regulations without a problem. I have been to a lot of other places that you'll see flashing. We have Africa in there. Europe is starting to open up midsummer. So those of you that want to go back to Europe, we will be booking that very shortly. Cruises are coming back. So that's a good thing. Most cruise lines are requiring COVID shots. If you don't have a COVID shot, you might be left behind on a lot of different trips and deals. So you got to keep up with the local information. Give me a call. We can go through everything you need to know. I've been quite a few places. Our office is located in Apponaug in Warwick. So you can always make an appointment and come in and see me, and we can go from there. But after looking at the last slide, one of my favorite things to do in Mexico were the cenotes. These are the underwater caverns with all the limestones, the stalagmites, the stalactites. You get your little helmet, you wear it on, and you go swimming through. That was one of the top things I've done. My favorite thing to do in the Riviera Maya or Mexico was swim with the dolphins. I've done that 2 or 3 times, and every time I still get chills with those creatures because they are so warm and friendly. And if you ever have a chance to do it now.
How far ahead, Lori, if we're thinking of taking a trip, how far ahead should we reach out to a travel agent?
Right now, if you're looking at this year, you've got to do it sooner than later. The beginning of next year, you should do it now also. Yeah, I have a lot of people booking for 22, 23. So the earlier, the better.
We have some other questions as well. What does travel insurance cover?
Travel insurance, depending on what insurance you have, cancel for any reason. You can cancel for any reason whatsoever. You have a bad hair day, you don't want to go with your husband, you had a fight with your friends. So that's not a problem. It also covers trip delay, trip cancellation, medical once you're there, because most of our medical insurance does not cover out of the country. So if you happen to slip and fall and twist your ankle and have to go to the hospital, that's coming out of your pocket before you leave that country. So that's why medical insurance helps there. With the cancel for any reason, you can pay one price and you'll get a future travel credit. If you pay a higher price, you can get all your money back. So it just depends on what type of insurance that you're looking for. But right now, people really do need insurance because we don't know what's going to happen.
Good point. How long have you been a travel agent?
40 years in the travel field.
Wow. And if a group of us want to go, how do group trips work? Do we all call you individually? How does that all fit together?
I do destination weddings and a lot of groups. So what happens is if there's a group person, there's usually one or two group leaders. So I'll arrange with them the different packages or where they're going, and I will book everything. And once everything is set, travel dates, then each individual person will call with what room type they want, how many nights they want, if they need airfare, insurance, if they want to do tours. So we just keep everything flowing. So I am the key point. So the group leader is not inundated with 50 calls. How much is an ocean view? What is this? They all do that through me.
And what types of trips do you specialize in?
I specialize in destination weddings. I do a lot of groups. I do Italy. I also specialize in river cruises. So I do a little bit of everything. I also do corporate travel.
Okay, interesting. Do you have a favorite trip?
My favorite two trips would be South Africa in a safari. We went to Kruger National Park, and then we did Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe, which was one of my top on my list. That was top on my bucket list, and it was worth every penny. Just to see the animals out in their own environment without having people around, it was wonderful. My second favorite tour would have to be Peru. I went up to Machu Picchu, Cusco, and to see the people there that in their whole, they might have two pairs of jeans, two shirts, two pairs of shoes, and they're happy. I left there saying I am one spoiled person because I have 3 closets full of clothes and don't use any of them. So, and they were really humble. So it gives you a little bit that people can be happy with less. So once I did that trip, I started needing less stuff and trying to make more memories.
Fabulous. Any other questions for Lori today?
I do. So your tropical vacations, beaches and sand and water, if there are 2 or 3 places not Mexico that you recommend?
One of my favorites would probably be Aruba, St. Lucia, which I consider to be Hawaii of the East, because they've got their rainforests and the mountains. So if you don't want to fly all the way out to Hawaii, you could do St. Lucia and get a few of the other main things. Some of my favorite beaches are in Turks and Caicos, Aruba, and Punta Cana. So it really depends if people are looking for a tropical vacation, a cultural vacation. Costa Rica is great for people that aren't into beach and into activities, because you can go zip lining, you can do aerial trams, ATVs. So it's not all featured around the water. because some people can't sit on a beach for hours.
Mhm.
As long as I have the sun out and a beach chair, I'm fine. So it just depends on what each person wants to do.
Any other questions?
I was wondering, can you go anywhere on a cruise leaving from here without flying? I don't like to fly.
Yes, you could go out of, well,
These,
normally you can go out of Boston,
Yeah.
Boston and New York. Boston,
Okay.
you'll be doing, it normally does Bermuda. Out of New York, you can go down to the Caribbean or to Bermuda, and they all, so it all depends. Right now, everything's halted till at least mid-July, June, July.
Sure.
They're
Okay.
just trying to get things, but Boston to
Right.
Bermuda is one of the most popular things. No
Good to
airfare,
know.
you park your car there, you go and come, and that's it.
Yep. That's great. I don't like to fly. I haven't flown in a long time and it's just not my thing. But I'd love to do a cruise with my teenage son. And I think he'd really enjoy that too. So cool. Thank you.
Some of the bigger ships go out of New York. That's
Okay.
as of, normally, but we don't know what's going to happen this year or next year.
Of course.
But it's a good place it's a good way to start.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds good. Thanks.
There's a lot of people that don't like to fly.
Yeah. This is a long time.
That's why you
thing.
have lots of options.
Yeah, that's great.
Lori can get you connected to all of them. Anything else?
Lori, you had said that you're seeing more and more people booking vacations. Sort of what do you see for the next year or two, where people are wanting to go, or how hard it might become down the road to do something on a quick turnaround?
It's not going to be as hard on a quick turnaround. It's just not going to be inexpensive. Okay, until the airlines start adding more of their flights back. I mean, we had, 5 or 6 sets of flights going down to the Caribbean every day. Now there's one flight. So those are filling up quick. So if you used to pay $500 for a flight, now it's like 7 or 8. So you need to do it earlier, but people are going. I've heard from a lot of my clients, they're vaccinated, they're ready to go. So the last month has been insane compared to last year. So people they're done. They've had it. They'll get their shots, they'll follow protocol, and they're off. A lot of them also are going to the US. The national parks are very big this year. But again, you have to work with an advisor because you just can't show up at a national park anymore. You need a reservation. So even Disney World, just because you have tickets to get into Disney World, if you don't book a slot at each resort you want to go to, you're not getting in. So there's a lot of protocols you need to be aware of. I just left for Jamaica a couple of weeks ago, and I was at the airport and 5 people showed up without a negative COVID test. They didn't realize they needed one because they just got online, quick, booked it themselves, and that's it. So they had to leave the airport, find a COVID test, come back, fly out the next day, lose the money for the first night at the hotel because they didn't follow through on what they needed to have. So you really do need to make sure everything is in place.
Thus why you work with an expert, right?
That's where we come in. Yeah, it
Terrific.
doesn't cost any more to work with us. We're always here for you. So if something happens, we know your flight, you're missing your connection before you do, and we have you on another flight. So it's just, and people, they come back year after year after year. So we have to be doing something right.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Lori Franco, Global Excellence Travel.